All right, guys, welcome to another edition of Joyriding, brought to you by GR Auto Gallery, America's premier consignment dealer in the country.
I like it, Johnny.
All righty, so today we're going to go to Max's South Seas Hideaway in downtown Grand Rapids. It's a nice little tiki bar. You know, they serve a lot of rum drinks. They have some great food down there, and the atmosphere is something that makes you feel like you're on vacation every day you go. Today, Chris, you know what I got for you? I got the coolest vacation car ever.
All right. Check it out, Johnny.
I am so fired up for this thing on a beautiful September Michigan day.
It is gorgeous.
The weather doesn't get better here. If you guys ever get to Michigan, fall is where it's at. Anyways, so for today, we got this large and in charge, big and beautiful 1957 Cadillac Dorado Barrett's Convertible. Chris, what do you think of that?
I love it. You know, it's a big body Cadillac. Back in the day when they had a ton of features on the cars, they were instantly recognizable because of the huge fins on the back, the big white wall tires, the monstrous front end, chrome galore, as they say, and just an awesome convertible that you just don't see anymore. Obviously, Cadillac had some incredible features that today's standards, some cars still don't have. You know, like the power windows, power folding top. You even had, you know what this is, Johnny, up here?
I don't know, is that a laser pointer?
No, it's the electric eye for the auto dimming headlights back in the day. So again, things that they were building in the 50s that, again, cars up until now are just starting to get standard on vehicles. So, you know, it is just a phenomenal vehicle, and the color is spotless because you call it.
It's Elcian green metallic. This is a color they don't see very often.
With matching light green leather interior.
Yep, and the saber spoke aluminum wheels.
Yeah,
so that was a factory option back then for Dorado. And then also you can't forget the gold Barrett's insignias.
And the Barrett's was the top line, correct?
It is the top of the line car, and this is the car that put Cadillac on the map. Prior to this, a lot of the cars really stood up high and tall. This thing is low, sleek, it's long and lean. It is gorgeous. And Chris,
yes,
we're going to a tiki bar, so we got to do it.
Yeah.
Fins to the left, baby, and fins to the right.
Little Jimmy Buffett reference.
It's the only game in town.
But just a ginormous cabin too. 4, 5, 6 people in this car comfortably. Back in the day, they might have crammed 8 people in this car, going to the beach, going to church, going to the restaurant, wherever it was, because obviously, if you had this car, you were the main attention and main attraction no matter where you went. So I think this car fits exactly where we're going. Tiki bar, have a little hula skirt with your drink. And even more important though, is this guy even builds his own tiki mugs, Johnny. So we're gonna see that too. But I love the car. The car's incredible. Very difficult to duplicate a car like this. You know, if these cars were in an accident, replacing a fender, replacing a quarter panel, replacing those fins, or anything would be almost impossible to today's standards. So this car is extremely nice, very clean, like you said, and very straight, which is hard to come by nowadays because a lot of these were filled with Bondo and they'd wave back at you.
Well, that is true, Chris, and this car here too, it's really cool because it's an older restoration. We'll call it a nice driver example, but these cars are extremely expensive to restore. And the quality of work, the craftsmanship that has to go into this thing to get them to a high level is absolutely insane. So these cars have been known to sell for nearly $500,000 on an auction block. Yeah. So this one right here, it starts, it runs, it drives, it looks great.
And the guy that's owned it since 1985.
Yep, and he drives it every summer.
Yep.
So we're excited to roll this thing downtown, and I'm driving.
You are. All right, let's jump in. Let's take it for a spin, Johnny.
All right.
Well, we're down here at Max's South Seas Hideaway, correct?
That's right.
All right, perfect. Right downtown Grand Rapids. It's a beautiful tiki themed bar that has an incredible amount of, I don't say paraphernalia, but just tiki art, you know, from banners to photos to tiki mugs to statues to very cool,
The wall art, Chris, was pretty incredible too.
A lot of wood carvings here.
wood carvings, thank you. So we're here with Mark, the owner, and he's going to show us around a little bit. We brought down our 57 Barretts that we talked about earlier today. We thought it matched the theme of your restaurant.
Yeah, it does.
Mark, you got to stand next to that car. Sure.
Why don't we just drive it right inside?
Exactly. We could add it to the art collection.
Does it make me look good? Maybe I might have to buy this car though.
So I know that I remember this building from years ago, and it was not like this.
Yeah, it was McFadden's. Well, before that was the Opus Room.
I remember the Opus Room.
Yeah, that was
what happens at the Opus Room stayed in the Opus
Yeah,
Room.
yeah. I lived in Chicago at that time, so I never went to the Opus
Okay.
Room.
Yeah.
But then it was McFadden's when I moved here.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then I turned it into this.
Awesome.
Let's go check it out.
All right.
All right. Wow, it's quite a place. So where to start? So we're sitting in this private little
Tiki hut.
tiki hut. Exactly what it is. The only thing that's missing is the ocean right outside. But
That's what you got to use your imagination for.
I can probably get there with a couple of these. So we were talking earlier, and you said you took about 10 years to gather all the artwork that's in here.
Yeah.
That's on display, and to I guess I don't even want to use the word decorate because it doesn't even seem fitting. I mean, this is absolutely mind-blowing to me of all what's going on in here.
Well, it's a really immersive environment. The whole point of this place is once you walk in the doors, you forget that there is an outside world.
Okay.
You're supposed to feel like you're in some sort of island escape. And
Sure.
a lot of times people walk in when it's sunny and they can't even see when they first walk in because it's
Yep.
dark in here. But then they just forget the outside world exists for 2 hours.
Yes.
And we have campers sometimes that just sit for a long time just so they enjoy the environment so much. They're done with their drinks, they're done with their food, but they just want to sit anyway. And,
That's a cool environment.
That's got to be kind of a fine line. 'Cause you know you want to turn that table over too. Yeah.
But we also have people waiting sometimes.
Yeah.
So how'd you come up with this concept? I mean, again, I've never been to a tiki bar. I don't think anywhere outside of being in the Caribbean, but
Sure.
You know.
Well, I grew up in the 70s.
Okay.
I'm 53 now. So as a kid, I watched Hawaii Five-0, Magnum P.I., Gilligan's Island, Fantasy Island,
Yeah.
Brady Bunch, which they had the Hawaiian episode.
Yeah.
Everybody knows
With the
that.
tarantula?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Vincent Price.
Yeah, and Greg bites it on the surfboard.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man, yeah.
And there was that sound. Doo-doo-doo-doo. It was like the bad luck sound.
Yeah, I remember that. Well, I am 53 as well, so you and I
There you go.
we're on the same generation right
So just growing up and watching that stuff, and my parents were middle class. We didn't really ever have money to go to like Hawaii or the South Pacific, or the Caribbean, frankly. So I never got to go to those places until I was in my late 20s, and but it was always seemed such an exotic thing. So I always kind of had tropical, exotic paradise as something that I wanted to see. And when I finally went to Hawaii, I started to notice a lot of the tiki carvings that were there, and some of the artwork that was there. And I started collecting stuff, and I started going to tiki bars. So I've been to tiki bars all over the United States, all the major ones that are in the United States, plus been to tiki bars in Australia, London, France, Canada. I mean, I decided several years ago that I was going to start my own.
Okay.
And so I partnered with a guy who has already opened several award-winning tiki bars out in California, and he and I are partners on this project. So
yeah, it's a fun experience. I mean, it is, like you said, something that you just never expect to see in downtown Grand Rapids. From the outside, you would never expect walking in here and seeing this.
Well, because the building used to have big windows and the big picture windows in the front.
Okay.
Right.
Because it was an Irish bar before this.
Yeah,
Irish nightclub, really. They had the DJ and dancing and stuff.
Yep.
But so when we remodeled it, I blocked all the windows out and put artwork up where the windows used to be, because again, it's an immersive environment. You're supposed to forget the outside world exists. So a real tiki bar shouldn't have windows. It should have everything it needs within the confines, and you should forget there is an outside world. The only time that's not true is if you're in a tropical paradise like Hawaii or the Caribbean. Then of course you got to open it up because everybody wants to watch the ocean and the palm trees. But in Michigan, you don't want to see the snow and the trucks going by and everything. So
you got your regulars then.
We have a lot of regulars, yeah. In fact, if you drink, we have a passport which has all of the drinks on our menu. We have 33 drinks on our menu.
Okay.
And the passport, every time you order a new one, you get a stamp. And if you fill the passport with stamps, all 33 drinks, then you get your name on a plaque on the bar, on the second floor bar.
Do you get a free drink too?
You get free drinks, yeah. We take care of those people. However, I collected Tiki mugs. I had, one of the larger collections of Tiki mugs.
And how many would you say you had offhand?
I used to have well over 1,000.
Okay.
I've sold off some of my duplicates and stuff, so I probably have about 800. So,
and you said
a lot of them are on display right over there around the corner.
Okay, we'll check that out.
Just like the car business, you got obviously something that makes this unique compared to this one, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
And obviously built at a different time, maybe, or produced at a different time. Or
yeah. So all these mugs are from the 50s and 60s. These three.
Okay.
And then these 3 mugs are actually mugs that we made here at Max's. We produce mugs all the time, so there's always new ones coming out. These are just 3 that happen to be in stock right now.
Do you have an in-house designer that does that, or is that?
Well, I'm pretty heavily involved in, like, I designed this mug.
Okay.
But it was based on a tiki carving that we have in the restaurant.
Okay.
And so we just basically modeled this mug after a wood carving that we have in the restaurant.
Are there tiki-themed auctions and stuff that you go to, or?
Well, eBay is really
eBay.
What everybody bought. But I bought a private collection. A guy had actually one of the animators on the Ren and Stimpy show. He happened to also have the largest collection of vintage tiki items in the world, and he had like hundreds and hundreds of vintage stuff, including these. Wow. Including that thing there. Okay. And a lot of other stuff that you see in here. And I just bought the whole collection from him. He was going to put it up for sale.
Right.
And I said, I'll just buy it from you. Oh. Because I knew I was going to start a restaurant, and that gave me a huge jump start.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, to get all that stuff in one. Otherwise, I would have had to buy one-off stuff from different people.
That takes a long time.
Yeah.
Now, what is your seating capacity? It's got to be.
It's 225.
Okay.
It is a large, and you got 3 bars I saw.
Yeah, 3 different bars.
And the one upstairs was a very cool little ship. It's mimicked after a specific ship, or just made in house?
No. So I was at a bar in Paris about 6 or 7 years ago, and this little neighborhood bar like a locals neighborhood. There were no tourists at this bar, but I had read that it was a really cool place. So we went in, and the bar was shaped like a boat. Actually, it was a boat. It was an old ship that they somehow got into the building, and they built a bar inside the ship and cut a hole in the hull so that you could walk up to the boat, and the bartender would be inside the hull.
Okay.
And he'd serve you the beer or whatever drink. And I took pictures of that, and I always remembered that. If I ever have a chance to build a boat bar, that'd be cool. And it fit perfectly here.
Oh, why wouldn't you, right?
Exactly.
There are a lot of tiki bars around the country now popping up.
Is there?
But nothing like this, because nobody has the artwork and the artifacts.
Well, I was going to say, there's probably got to be, okay, you got a tiki bar, and then you got a tiki bar.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sure there's probably a lot of little ones. A lot of little ones, or a lot of people that think it's cool, but they actually go in it to the extent that you have, and to recreate something that's obviously has a long history here in the States. Yeah. And to put that much thought and effort into it, like I said, I'm still blown away. I'm sitting here for an hour. So, all right.
Yeah, we'd love to get a little tour of the facility, and maybe point out some of the highlights of your artwork that you feel and like to share with us, and go from there.
We'll get out of your hair.
Let's do it.
Awesome.